Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Kuber. I am a CICC licensed immigration consultant. This channel is all about Canadian immigration news, updates, things you should do, things you definitely should not. And of course, today's video is all about Ontario's Human Capital Priorities Stream Draw. The latest draw, which happened on the 8th and 9th, so basically it's split between 8th and 9th. A lot of people received invitations on the 8th, other people received on the 9th. This is for the Human Capital Priorities recent draw, which they have also called as the Health Draw. The reason why they're calling it the Health Draw is because because most of the, rather all of the knock codes that have been invited come under the healthcare category, and therefore that's the name given to this new substream. Let's quickly jump onto the Ontario's website. That's the website here. 9th of March, that's when they're saying was the draw. They have issued a total of 822 invitations. The score range was 469 to 489. The knock codes that have been invited were several. I can't even sort of start listing them, but you can always hop onto the Ontario's website and get more information. Very quickly going through that. Of course, doctors were invited. Veterinarians were invited, dentists were invited, optometrists were invited, pharmacists were invited, physiotherapists, opticians, licensed nurses, dental hygienists, sonographers, technicians, pharmacy technicians, massage therapists, nurse aides. So many knock codes have been invited. So basically almost all the healthcare occupations, almost all the healthcare occupation knock codes have been included in this draw. This is pretty exciting. Why? Because usually doctors or dental technicians or dentists or optometrists, physiotherapists, they usually do not have any PNP option. So Ontario inviting them is a great thing. This is the second time that has happened. They invited the first batch about 40 days, 35 days back. So this is the second draw which has happened under the Human Capital Priority Stream. Very quickly, we will go through what needs to be done under this particular stream, because there are so many of you out there who may have received a notification of interest. If you've got it, congratulations, but they're pretty lost as to what they're supposed to do. First of all, if you have it, trust me, that's your golden ticket. Don't let it go waste. Don't make a mistake in your application, or don't second think, or start thinking, should I do it, should I not do it, should I wait for the express entry? You have it, run with it. It will save you so many sleepless nights. You will be more at peace, and you will obviously be able to get through this without any hassles. Again, going back to the website so we can go through what is needed to be done. This is the website. Obviously, the links are in the description box, so you don't have to worry about the links. If you click on the first link here, Ontario Human Capital Priority Stream, this will bring you to the main page of where the eligibility criteria is mentioned. Now, we will go through it very, very quickly. First thing that you need to understand is you do not need any license to practice in Canada, in Ontario, in order to be able to apply. You have been sent a notification of interest, go ahead and apply it. That's the most important one. A lot of people are wondering that would we be able to apply because we don't have a license to practice in Canada, but don't worry about it. You can apply. There is no requirement at this point of time from Ontario for you to have any license to practice. If you have the notification, apply it. So as you will scroll down, you'll see steps to apply. You can click on it. They will give you more details. There is a review document checklist. Please do go through the document checklist. It will give you a lot of information as to what you need to do. But I'm going to go through this very, very quickly so you have the basic understanding. First of all, the work experience. Your work experience has to be under Federal Skilled Worker or Canadian Experience class, which basically means if you're under Federal Skilled Worker program, then you should have at least 12 months of continuous work experience. If you're under Canadian Experience class, then your work experience should be in one of the eligible knock codes under which you have been invited. It has to be within the last 3 years. It could be multiple knock codes. It could be multiple employers. It could have some breaks. That's not a problem. For Federal Skilled Worker, there can be no breaks, cannot be multiple knock codes, only one knock code, could be multiple employers, no gaps. So that's the basic requirement, Federal Skilled Worker and Canadian Experience class. More importantly, your work experience that is invited, or under which knock code that you have been invited for this particular draw, it has to be within the last 5 years, whether CEC, whether Federal Skilled Worker. If you do not have at least 1 year of work experience within the last 5 years, then you would not be eligible. So this is where it says your experience must have been obtained within the last 5 years from the date you are submitting your application. It's extremely, extremely important. A lot of times people do have the relevant work experience, but it's prior to the last 5 years. So that's the more important bit. As I scroll down further, your education. Now, In education, it is extremely important that you have at least a Canadian equivalency of a bachelor's, master's, or PhD. If you have completed a 3-year diploma program, then unfortunately that will not be considered as acceptable or valid under Ontario's stream. If you have at least a Canadian bachelor equivalency, then that's good. Also, you have obviously received your ECA. Now, for this particular Ontario's stream, you will need to send a duplicate copy of your ECA to Ontario, and that is required for these organizations. Okay. For these organizations, you have to send a duplicate copy of the ECA report directly from the organization to Ontario, and it tells you very clearly how you can do it. For WES, which might be the case for most of you out there, you will simply need to go to your WES account, create a duplicate copy, and have it sent to OINP. Very important. For MCC, you have to order a copy of your report and indicate that OINP, Ontario, should be the recipient of this report. And for CES, Comparative Education Service, you need to submit an online request form. The link is also given here on this particular web page, so you don't have to worry about that. As I move forward, obviously, you have to have valid language results based on which you have received your IT. Now, settlement funds. Whether you are a Canadian experience class, whether you're a federal skilled worker, doesn't matter. You still need proof of funds. So please do provide your proof of funds. If you are working in Canada, then obviously you can also show your employment letter and pay stubs to show that you do meet the proof of fund requirement, but you do have to provide proof of funds. Now, there are a lot of people who may not have sufficient funds, and they're always wondering, how can we arrange for the funds in the last minute? Well, for you guys, then a gift deed does work with Ontario, so don't worry about it. That's not really a problem. You obviously have to express your intention to live in Ontario. That's extremely important. So you will have to write a letter, or you will have to upload a document saying that you want to live in Ontario. Please do not get worried about the fact that you do not have any friends or relatives or connection. It is not required. You don't have to have those friends and relatives and connections. Simply express your intention. Say why you want to live in Ontario. Pick a city in Ontario. Say this is the city you want to live in. Do some research, identify some residential areas, identify some schools if you have children, identify areas where you would like to work, organizations that you would like to work, and simply write a 200 words essay saying why you would like to live in Ontario and upload that document. That's pretty much it. That is the main criteria for this. Obviously, how you will apply is again on the same website, Human Capital Priority Stream website of Ontario. You will see this link. Steps to apply for express entry streams. Click on this. Once you click on this, at the end of it, as you will scroll down, this just basically tells you how you create your express entry profile. But as you scroll down here, it will give you submit an application. To submit an application, this is for Ontario. If you have received a notification of interest, you come to this web page, click on submit an application. You would be able to create, or basically you will be able to come to the Ontario portal. You will be able to go here, and then you can choose that you are a new applicant. As a new applicant, register yourself, choose that you have received a notification of interest under the Human Capital Priority Stream, choose your stream, whether you're a federal skilled worker or Canadian experience class, and then proceed from there on. The portal is quite simple. It's not at all complicated. It's quite simple and straightforward. However, please strictly follow the document checklist that has been indicated in the, let me just share that with you. Do follow the document checklist, because if you don't follow the document checklist, then you will have some issues there. Okay, I'm not being able to go back. Let me see if I can jump back. Yes, this is the document checklist. If I say review the document checklist, it gives you complete details of all the documents you need to submit. Especially in this particular section, work experience is the most critical. Of course, you have to provide your documents for your education. As I said, you have to provide a duplicate copy or order another copy of your ECA to be sent to Ontario. That is also one of the reasons why applications get refused. So don't forget about that one, especially for from CES, from MCC, and from WES. For all the other organizations, you don't need to order a duplicate copy. Only for these 3 organizations. For your work experience documents, obviously the regular work experience documents is what will be needed. An employment reference letter, which lists your job description, your period of work, your working hours. Also important is for you to be able to provide pay slips, pay stubs, bank statements, income tax returns, especially for the first few months. and for the last few months. It is Ontario's requirement, so please do provide it. Otherwise, either you will get a document request or your application might not go through. It is a requirement. You have to provide proof of compensation. As it says over here, you must scan and upload proof of compensation, basically your pay slips, paychecks, pay statements for the first and the last month for each period of work experience. It is a requirement, so you must provide that. In addition to that, if you are self-employed, now it's quite common, it's quite acceptable that you are self-employed. For example, if you're a doctor, you have your own clinic. You're a dentist, you have your own clinic. In that case, your work experience is acceptable. However, it has to be treated differently. In this case, you will need to get reference letters from your clients, from people who you've been treating. You have to provide proof of ownership of the business. You have to provide proof of the fact that you obviously are working here in this business. It belongs to you. You have to provide proof of your duties, your job description based on letters, reference letters that you will get from your clients. You have to provide your income tax returns of the business. Whether you are taking a salary or not, that doesn't matter. Your business should be generating income, should be generating revenue. Profitable is not the criteria. You have to provide income tax returns. You have to provide bank statements. You have to provide any kind of payment platform if you are using receipts or copies of that. All of this together will constitute as your proof of work experience. In addition to that, as I said, you have to provide proof of funds. So please do provide your bank letters, bank balance confirmation letters, your at least 6 months of bank statements. That is a requirement. Of course, you have to provide your resume as well. As I said, go through the document checklist. You will be able to sort of understand whatever is needed. You have to provide your family's birth certificate, marriage certificate, if they're in Canada, then their status documents. And that is pretty much it. That's all. It's as simple as that. Of course, you have to pay 1,500 Canadian dollars as the application fees. But to be very honest, it's a very small amount to pay for the opportunity that you now have to submit your application for nomination. There are a lot of you who are thinking, well, I've received this notification of interest, but I may get a direct express entry invitation. For anybody whose score is less than 485, anybody, please don't even waste your time. The sooner you get on with it, the sooner you will get your nomination, the sooner you will be able to apply. Do not wait for express entry. 485 and below, your chances at this point of time absolutely look very, very difficult. Don't even waste your time. For everybody else who's on the fence, should I, shouldn't I, what should I do, should I go through it? There could be a draw next week. Well, for all of you guys, your score is 489 and below. That's why you received a notification of interest. In most cases, it's going to be difficult. Especially people who are at 488 and below, it may be difficult at this point of time. However, of course, I give you that anything can happen with express entry, anything can happen with the IRCC. Tomorrow, they might just come out with a very big draw. I don't know. So what you can do is prepare your application, go through with everything, keep everything ready just so that you have to submit, click on the submit button. You can wait for the next 2 draws, maybe even 3 draws, depending on when the draw happens. You can submit your application on the 44th day, 43rd day, 42nd day, though it's never a good idea to wait till the last minute. But you can afford to wait for a month, 10 days to see what the draws are, how the draws are happening, when they are happening. But if I was in your place, I would just take peaceful sleep, knowing that I will get the nomination, and with the nomination, knowing that I will get my invitation in the next PNP draw. If that's how it happens, I would go with that. But I will leave the decision to you, because this is something which obviously costs money. So you might want to choose differently. But that's pretty much all that I wanted to talk about. This video was specifically to talk about people who have received the notifications of interest under the human capital priority stream. Submit your application, do a good job of it so that you don't let this opportunity go. In case you want to discuss with me your application, your profile, your documentation, then this is the link. Please, you're more than welcome to book an appointment. I'll be happy to sort of discuss what your situation might be. If you want us to handle your application, by all means, drop us an email here and we will let you know what we can do for you. Other than that, I wish you all the very best. I hope you have a successful application and a very, very speedy processing. Take care, stay good, and I shall see you next time.